we have to take a little trip to good old Mondstadt for the gift that keeps on giving every year. A very marvelous event, some would say. The marvelous merchandise event with Liben is back. We get the rewards, we get the little elemental boxes, and every year Liben is the first character that typically gives us our first instance of breadcrumbs for the next nation. So now that we are in Natlan, Liben is returned to hopefully give us some information on Snezhnaya, which we're going to be getting next year, less than a year at the time of recording. Less than 12 months we will have this nation, which is incredible. So we have the marvelous merchant. Bro is back. He's here to give us some goodies, and hopefully he's here to tell us a little bit about what Snezhnaya is going to deliver, which is hilarious because I'm talking to him with my permafreeze team. Liben, my boy! Your pompadour is looking amazing. How's it going? Hey there, friend. It's been a while. It sure has, Liben. Ha! Enthusiastic as ever, I see. I wonder, how changed a man am I? You're the same as ever. That's good. I mean, I almost didn't make it back this time. Did you try your luck in Natlan? Nope. I heard things there were tense, so I deliberately avoided it and went to, ooh, Nod-Krai instead. Oh, is that a location? Let me write that down. Ooh, we're getting a name drop of a location. Nod-Krai. I heard things there were tense, so I deliberately avoided it and went to Nod-Krai instead. Have you been there? No. What kind of place is that? No. Well, I guess I can tell you about it then. Oh my God, Liben, thank you. The man is so goated. Holy shit. Nod-Krai. Oh, Nod-Krai is in the southernmost part of Snezhnaya, where people from all over Teyvat gather. Those not in the know would think that opportunities to get rich are everywhere there. It's only after you get there that you realize it's a wild place that plays by its own rules. Oh my God, like Teyvat? Like Teyvat has its own rules? Let me put it this way. Before I even set foot in the city, I was robbed by a group of vagrants taking advantage of my ignorance about the place. What the hell? Courts of law, Knights of Favonius, there's none of that there. Someone just told me to visit. Wait, there's like, oh my God, what the hell? Someone just told me to visit the Voynich Guild. Let me write that down. The Voynich Guild. Damn, bro really is out here struggling in Snezhnaya. What the hell? Bro's giving us the most right now. So there's a guild in a city that apparently it's like the Wild West over there, or the Wild South of the north of Snezhnaya. I don't know. Said the guild was the strongest force in the area and that they might be able to get me justice. Nah, their own personal justice. I was only half convinced at first, so imagine my surprise when the guild folks not only hauled all my goods back, they even bought everything off me too. Totally amazing, right? I was so happy to see that much Mora. I counted it up several times. And why did I almost not make it back, you say? Ugh, I don't even want to talk about it. When I leave the city again, I ran into another band of vagrants who robbed me of every Mora. Not a single coin was spared. Did bro just get like finessed? Did the guild give him everything? Give him all of his money for his goods? And then it was like an inside job? Wow, they were like, let me buy all your stuff. And then the second he leaves, he gets robbed for all that money. And then they're all just laughing. Wow. Okay, so there's some shifty shifters in that place, some scammers. They must have already had their eyes on you back in the city. Yep, damn, hook, line, and sinker. That's me, Liben, for ya. Only the grandest peaks and deepest troves of life. Anyways, I'm not going back there, not for a while at least. So yeah, stay on your toes if you're going to Nod-Krai, and don't let just anyone know that you're holding on to a big bag of Mora. Jesus Christ, I'll keep that in mind. You keep your guard up too, Liben. So, I trust that our deal's still on then. Oh yes. Can you tell me about your background again? I'm Liben, I sell curios. Before that, I ran a Nod-Krai trade route hoping to make myself a small fortune, but I'm still here, so I'm sure you know how that turned out. Wow, that's so cool. So our first instance, our first piece of information in Snezhnaya, the Sarita just lets vagrants and thieves and scammers run amok. She's like, that's fine. In my new world, there will be no scammers. Everyone will be equal. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Genshin Impact playthrough session. I actually think this might actually be an inserted video or something in regards to Nod-Krai, because there's actually an event that's out right now for version 5.3 that is an unseemingly usual combat-based event, but it tends to have a bit of lore regarding Snezhnaya and the territory of Nod-Krai, which we got teased about earlier in Natlin's cycle with Liben from Mondstadt, who told us about the next area, the next regional expansion for Snezhnaya, talking about the fact that bro got, like, scammed and he got, like, harassed in this, like, nation of, like, vagrants and like mercenaries and just shady business people, shady people in general, like scammers and whatnot, of this area known as Nod-Krai, which they touched on this area as well at the end of the 5.3 Archon quest for Act 5. Hoyoverse is also drip marketed, or not drip marketed, but they basically roadmapped a bunch of their upcoming content along with characters. They mentioned Nod-Krai would be a focus. So I don't know if Nod-Krai is going to be the placeholder of the summer event, right? Instead of us going on a summer adventure, I don't know if we're going to go on a winter wonderland adventure, or if this is actually going to be a 6.0 initial setup for Snezhnaya with Nod-Krai when 6.0 comes out. But this is a very similar situation that we find ourselves in here, because prior to Natlin's release, we got the Saurian event that released a couple of patches prior that gave us our first kind of insight into Natlin more deeply, along with the Saurian companions. And we had a similar boss level world boss event where we had to go to different areas throughout Teyvat and fight bosses with an NPC. I believe the NPC was Ranjit, I think was his name. And every time we fought a boss, he would give us a little bit more information on the Saurians, the tribes, the culture, the environment, like the world building of Natlin, which was some of the most like ingrained information, because we didn't even have NPCs in the outside world of Natlin because we didn't know anything about it. So essentially, it seems like they're doing this again, but now they're kind of revamping it to focus on Snezhnaya. So we're going to be going through it similarly to how we did before. I think I'm going to attach the Liben video to this video, because Liben's video is kind of like our first introduction to Nod-Krai. They talked about, I had it written in my notes, I think it was the Voynich Guild. So there's like a guild in Nod-Krai. There's a bunch of like scammers and people that are willing to like be dubious to you if you're like unfamiliar with the terrain and the territory, like vagrants and like mercenaries and stuff like that. So it's a very shady business kind of place. And they also talked about it heavily that Dottore has like a headquarters in Nod-Krai and he's doing a bunch of research. They also talked about the moon fragments that dropped after the Act 4 reveal of the False Sky, that they were ancient moon fragments, which were secret source mechanism technology. So it's basically dragon tech. So I think the dragons low-key created the moon that we saw and it was destroyed. So I don't know if Celestia got offended that they were trying to have like a place in the freaking stars or whatever. There's an element in Nod-Krai that predates the 7 elements of Celestia that we know of, vision being like the elements of the visions and the gnosis, and you know, the elemental power of dragons to an extent too. Nod-Krai is incredibly, like, I don't know, it's just like a really cool, different vibe approach. I don't know if Aether is going to be able to harness this power, if he's just gonna get basic cryo traveler when we get there. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, it seems to imply that the dragons had like these void shuttles that could travel into the outer space of the world, and they were creating like their own planetary solar system. I don't know if they had like a freaking moon city or a moon planet, and then like it got destroyed, I assume by Celestia or something, if they basically like overstepped their boundaries or whatnot. But yeah, overall, a lot of fascinating lore, a lot of fascinating information about Nod-Krai. We're going to be getting into it today, so I hope you guys look forward to it. I have my notebook here, so I expect to take notes. But we are on the trail of behemoths. One day, while stopping by the Adventurers Guild, you and Paimon receive a mysterious commission from an organization whose details may not be disclosed. It seems that this might just be a toughie. Why did a member of a secret organization come here? Secret organization? Talk to the client. You've received a mysterious commission from an organization whose details may not be disclosed at the Adventurers Guild. You are to assist the client in completing data collection work on a series of giant monsters, including the Secret Source Automaton Configuration Device, Legatus Golem, Hydrotolpa, and Emperor of Fire and Iron. So in my mind, I'm immediately thinking, I wonder if this is like Dottore sending a client here to gather information, right? They got the freaking ancient moon fragment, which is also secret source technology. And now he wants us to research the secret source technology here, the golems, which is interesting because that's like Remoria technology to an extent, right? Like Remoria creations. Hydrotolpa is completely out there, and then Emperor of Fire and Iron is another thing as well. Maybe fire and water. I don't know if it's like an elemental thing. This also has focused experience, so we're going to be activating this so we don't get interrupted. Alrighty. Oh! Hi! How's it going? Nice place you got here. Helka. You know what? Let me get a picture with you while I'm here, in case I need evidence. Huh, didn't the guild say that this was a super tough quest commissioned by the organization whose details may not be disclosed? Why is the client a little kid? Murder-of-Birds and Paimon, I presume. Nice to meet you both. I'm your client, Helka. I trust you've been informed about the details of this commission? In short, I need help gathering information on giant monsters, including combat-related performance data. I look forward to working with you two. Chat, they're trying to get a sense of Aether's power scaling, I think. Why would they want combat-related performance data from me of all people? Probably because I'm going there next. And they were like, well, he already dealt with, like, Arlecchino dealt with him, but maybe he's gotten stronger since. Maybe he's gotten a new element that directly contradicts ours as Cryo, so he has a type advantage. So maybe we have to do a little research on the Traveler here. I wonder if that's what they're also doing. They're trying to size up the Traveler. Sure, leave it to us. Wait a second. We haven't been introduced. How did you know who we were? Considering the difficulty of this commission, the Adventurers Guild, who, by the way, is a direct network of information founded and headquartered in Snezhnaya. So they have all of the information of the world, so they know everything about us. So we're going to be really famous when we go there. Considering the difficulty of this commission, the Adventurers Guild was likely to pass this task on to seasoned adventurers with commensurate experience. And considering that duo consists of a golden-haired traveler and a little white guide, are rare amongst the most famous candidates. Oh, so that's it. You might look like a kid, but you sure know a lot. You even talk kind of like an old, a more composed sort of kid. Ah, yes, that. Anyways, are you really our client? Also, this organization whose details may not be disclosed thing is kinda sus. I was indeed the one who issued the commission. As for the organization, well, Katya taught me to say that. Oh, isn't that one of the Fatui agents? But she's already dead, chat. If you did the world quest in the chasm back in 2.6, this may have been beforehand. Like, he may have known her prior. Maybe he doesn't know that she's dead, or maybe it's a common name. I don't know, man. We've already met a Katya, which that was like a short, like, it was short for, I think, Katarina. So either this is a different one or it's the same one, but I remember that name specifically. Though I'm reluctant to admit it, an institution with murky origins is more likely to be taken seriously by the guild than some child with no background to speak of. But the organization's existence, at least, is no lie. I am a part of it. What the fuck is this, like, dark, dank organization? It's not the Fatui, and it's not the Adventurers Guild? Is it the Voynich Guild? Because we know that that's a guild in Nod-Krai. But if it's not that, then okay, we're dealing with some, like, shady Organization 13 type shit, right? The freaking Akatsuki of Teyvat. I just told them what I thought they should know. As for what information they got from parsing my words, that's up to their imagination. Is this some sort of organization that occasionally throws parties? Oh, God. Huh? So it's the kind of secret organization that has get-togethers with food? Wait, isn't that just normal friends clubs? That's right. I made an agreement with Myci before I left that I wouldn't lie or cheat others. or do anything dangerous. I succeeded in both. Damn. I love how bro needed to have like a verbal agreement. Bro's like, I'm a thief at heart, but like, I promise, Scout's honor, I wouldn't deceive, lie, cheat, or steal on this journey, and I've done a good job. Even when telling the truth, one can phrase things in a manner more advantageous to oneself. And with strong enough backing, even dangerous spaces can be made safe. Oh god, everyone's got a silver tongue in Nod-Krai. Are you sure that's how it works? Of course I am. If you both are ready, then let us set off. Oh my god. What an awesome commission. I can't wait to see what this is about. All right, Helka, give me my first lore drop. Ready to take on the giant mechanical monster? Let's talk a bit first. I've seen relics of a similar stripe in Wait, really? I've seen relics of a similar stripe in Nod-Krai. Yeah, on the island where the Frost Moon Scions gather. What does that mean? Excuse me? I beg your pardon? Frost Moon Scions. Damn, they were like, yo, Scions of the Canopy were so goated, we need to have another Scion group. Hold on a second. They have secret source relics. Well, right, because they gathered the ancient moon remnants from the moon. And so did they like reverse engineer this technology? And so is Nod-Krai basically using dragon tech as well? I don't know if that's talking about the destroyed dragon moon, if that's a moon sister thing. Frost moon implies cryo, so I don't know if there's like a cryo moon goddess or something. I have no fucking clue. That's crazy. It's on an island as well. But they're all as dead can be. The relics, okay. But they are all as dead can be. So this is the first time I'm seeing one move the way this one does. Fascinating. I'll record this and tell Maisie about it, all about it. So who are these Frost Moon Scions again? Yeah, please? They're a weird bunch, I'd say. They're not like the people. Nasha Town? What? Bro, they're dropping all of this information. Hold on, that's another location. They're a weird bunch, I'd say. They're not like the people of Nasha Town at all. The way they live in the wild and forests most of the time. Wow. Interesting. So they like live amongst the trees and the forests and the wildlife. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if they have like tree houses and stuff like Gandharvaville maybe. Word has it that they worship some moon deity. And that you can find statues they've made all over Nod-Krai? What? As for the rest, I don't know. Katya's warned me not to look into them too much. A moon deity. It's either that dragon moon or a moon sister. What? And they have statues of them. Bro, what the fuck are these people? They don't sound like people. They sound like creatures or something. But like a moon deity sounds insane. That sounds like moon sisters. You know, there's a broken moon, there's a moon in the abyss, there's a moon in the sky right now. That could be the corpse of one of them. But then there's also like this weird dragon moon that was destroyed beyond the firmament. So I don't know if that's what they're talking about. And they say they have the same type of technology, the secret source dragon tech in Nod-Krai as well. This is all very... Oh, or it could be the cryo dragon sovereign maybe. Because that's a factor too. But it's a moon, so, you know, it's a moon deity, not a dragon deity, so I don't know how that works. But what I have seen them do is magic. It's a shocking sight, I'll tell you that. Dude, what? The element that predates the 7 elements is magic? Really quick, any Ruby fans in chat? This kind of reminds me how, like, semblances and dust are like the byproducts of the old magic of the Ruby series. So it seems like this magic is different than like a Gnosis or a Vision. It's like next level. It's actually like, hey, I have limitless power practically. And that seems like it could be its own type of energy source, a power source that could combat the 7 elements, that could combat the Gnosis, that could combat the heavenly principles. Where it came from, how it was produced, I have no fucking clue, but it came from the moon apparently. So that's shocking for sure. So you got these people that live in the wilds, they use magic. They sound like elves almost, actually, now that I think about it. They like live in the forest and the trees, they use magic, they worship a deity, they're outside of society and all that. I don't know, that's crazy. What the hell? I was not expecting this. What the fuck? fuck are they cooking? What the hell is Dottore up to? He's literally there working on all this technology. Are we gonna have magical boy Aether and magical girl Lumine? I actually would love that. Yeah, I wonder if they're elves potentially, right? Because like we know that the mayor of Snezhnaya, the rooster, he's got like the same kind of ears as Klee, and we assume that Klee and her mom are elf-like. I don't know if they're like people, if they're humans, or if they're like a different life altogether, because we never really got like explanations on like Klee's, like what kind of species she is, or like Alice. We just know that they have a long lifespan. But yeah, I have no idea. That's crazy. What the hell is this kid gonna say to me again? We just got all of this crazy lore and all of this crazy world building information, and I get to do this 3 more times. Like, what the I'm like scared now what he's gonna say to me. This device was created by an ancient civilization, Remoria. It appears like nothing so much as a musician on a stage. The society that created it must have been impressive indeed. They were. Katya said that Nod-Krai was also once home to an ordered and another ancient another region, another ancient civilization. Am I right, chat? It's a Samsara, guys. There's always one of them. Yep. Katya said that Nod-Krai was once home to an ordered and prosperous civilization, one that you can catch glimpses of from time to time. I'd like to know more about this, Nod-Krai. Well, about that, Nod-Krai is actually part of Snezhnaya, and once upon a time, they performed lots of large-scale development in the area. Alright, well that's what Dottori's kind of doing now, so that makes sense. But you can't find hide nor hair of that nowadays, unless you're talking about the mechanical scrap you can see everywhere. Oh? But maybe that's precisely why Nod-Krai's become the bustling place it is today. Are those the relics and remnants he was talking about earlier, right? The secret source technology? Sounds like they got freaking destroyed. I don't know if that's referring to Hyperborea, but good lord. Very interesting that they're talking about it now. I wonder if that's what the artifact set is gonna reveal, because we usually get an artifact set that talks about the next region before it comes out, right? We got Nymph's Dream and Sumeru, which foreshadowed Fontaine, and then we got Unfinished Reverie in Fontaine, which foreshadowed Natlan. So I'm expecting by the time we get the Collective of Plenty or the last expansion of Natlan, we're going to get an artifact set that's going to foreshadow the lore of Snezhnaya, or at least Nod-Krai when we get there. Maybe this magic and all of this frost moon deity stuff was originated from this ancient civilization, which was thousands of years in the past. This civilization falls, and then the Nod-Krai people, the Snezhnayans, just, oh, look what we found, and then they just pick up where they left off, and now they're adopting the tech. That's probably what's going on here. So this, like, these are probably just remnants of the ancient the ancient civilization. That makes more sense to me. Alrighty, Helka. I really hope all of this technology isn't going to be used against me, like, by the time we get to Nod-Krai. So, the will of water can also manifest itself in such a form. Inconceivable! It really doesn't look as though it lacks a soul. Katya once told me a story, oh my god, about a fisherman who fell in love with a spirit of pure water. But such entities have no soul, and thus the fisherman set out on a journey to discard his as well. Hello? Allegory? Foreshadowing? Is this gonna come back up in Snezhnaya? What is happening here? Yeah, this reminds me of the Spring Fairy, but then it goes off and says, oh yeah, the fisherman wanted to be with this spirit, so he had to get rid of his. Yeah, I want to know more about this Katya. She used to be a great adventurer back in the day, and her exploits took her all over the world. Eventually, her injuries led to her retirement, after which she settled down oh, okay, so this isn't the same Katya. So I guess Katya was just like a nickname for Katarina in the Chasm. 07's, by the way, her and her brother. Such a tragic development that happened for her. Eventually, her injuries led to her retirement, after which she settled down in Nashatown. All right, that's nice. Nashatown sounds like the only normal thing in this entire event, I'll be honest. She's always taken good care of us and given lots of practical advice before I set out. I have immense respect for her, and I'm also immensely grateful to her. Oh, right. If you get the chance, you should definitely try her. I was gonna say, I wonder if we're gonna be able to meet this Katya when we go to Nod-Krai, or Snezhnaya, I should say, since they live in Nasha Town. We also have the town, I think, where Child's from, which is not it's not Nasha Town, it's not Nod-Krai, it's something else. So there seems to be like a bunch of different towns and settlements so far that they're giving us for Snezhnaya, which is cool. Obviously, they have to flesh out the nation besides just the palace where the Tsaritsa hails from, so that's really nice. I'm so excited for Snezhnaya now. God, they're finally giving us some substance. I feel like the only thing that we really had to go off of for Snezhnaya was like the Polar Star and the Pale Flame set, you know, which really kind of just glazed the Fatui more than anything. So it's cool that we're getting a bit more to get us excited for this next area. Ready to tangle with a giant crab? Let's talk for a bit. Nod-Krai? Oh! What the hell? Nod-Krai is also home to crabs, but they look very different? I should take a few more photos. For all I know, Maisie might like Fontanian crabs better. What, they have frost crabs? Ice crabs? In Snezhnaya? But then again, I wonder, is the appearance of a species like this the result of the hot springs? Or is it the tyrant's presence that caused the springs to boil? Jesus. Tell me a bit more about Nod-Krai. If I had to describe it, I'd go with a dangerous yet lively place. That's crazy. What a contradiction. I've been leaning towards the former in recent days, though. Jesus Christ. Yeah, after everything Liben told us, yeah, you gotta fight for your life there. Before I left, the Fatui had moved a lot of construction materials in. Word was that a harbinger, or harbingers, plural, were present too. As for what they intend, I couldn't say. Brother, they're working on Project Stuja, and I think they're using the dragon technology to do that. I don't know if they're gonna shoot like a giant ice beam at Celestia and they're gonna use the dragon power, which is ironic, the power of their enemies, against them. Winter is approaching. The Tsaritsa is about to pop off. She just needs to come back to Natlin and get the last Gnosis. I can only imagine they're gonna create some type of super weapon. And I can only imagine, because it's Snezhnaya, it's gonna be like some giant ice beam that's gonna like freeze the sky or something, or freeze Celestia's, you know, floating city and wake them up or something. I've heard bad things about the situation to the north as well. The Abyss's influence has been expanding. Kaya even warned me not to return via the northern paths. Holy shit, so they're probably also dealing with the Abyss as well. Maybe not as much as Natlin, but still. Damn, they're gonna deal with them on both fronts. They're gonna have to deal with the Abyss, they're gonna have to deal with Celestia, they're gonna have to deal with the Traveler when I get there. It is not looking good. What a rich source of information from this event. This has got me super excited. You know what I'm even more excited for, chat? Simulanka was absolute peak. If Simulanka was as peak as it was in foreshadowing and setting up everything for Natlin, I'm actually more excited for the summer event than I am for Snezhnaya right now, because we're gonna get that first. They might even tease Celestia in that, if that's like the next step after the Tsaritsa's plan of everything coming together. We might actually meet Piero. This is spectacular. This is so exciting. Whither shall a member of the secret organization go? You've completed the commission, but questions remain. All right, Helka, thank you, MurderofBirds. Paimon, I couldn't have completed my task without your help. Will you let me join the organization now? Yo, hold on, secret traveler? Wait, you actually want to join, don't you? Your age might complicate things somewhat. Yeah, okay, bro, I'm like thousands of years old. But the real issue is that I gotta hear what the others think. If all votes say yeah, well, it's not as if there's no precedent for this. If you ever there's no fucking way they're gonna let me join this organization when we go to Snezhnaya. Are they actually foreshadowing this? Hold on. If you ever find yourself in Nod-Krai, hit up the Speranza in Nasha Town. Katya's not one of us, but she's a trustworthy sort. She'll help you out. What do you mean, not one of us? Damn, that's crazy. That sounds like some cult nonsense. Sure, speaking of, you were talking about those photos and drawing in your notebook while MurderofBirds was fighting. It was all pretty professional. Not trying to secretly study... What the fuck did I say? They're literally trying to study the Traveler. I don't know if this is for the Harbingers or if this is for their own, like... If they're gonna secretly recruit me, or if they're gonna try to find ways to counter my fighting efforts when I get there and, like, nerf me completely. Not trying to secretly study my fighting style, I hope. Well, I suppose I can tell you. My task is to collect information on 100 monster varieties. Thanks to you, my Natlan and Fontaine series have been squared away. You know what's funny about that, chat? His task is to collect information on 100 monster varieties. I guarantee you the Traveler is one of those monster varieties. I am a monster! You kidding me? You know how many things I've killed in this game over the last 4.5 years? I am a monster. A monster capable of devouring this entire world according to a certain Melazine. But that's besides the point. Next up, I'm going to head to Sumeru, where I'll likely hire some Eremites. That said, I should remember to send the illustrated handbook I've made back to Nashatown. Wow, so you're making some sort of monster index? Indeed, there's no monsters in Nod-Krai that I don't know, so I've decided to get acquainted with those from further afield. Ah, interesting. Maisie's a timid girl, but she loves hearing stories about these monsters. You should see her every time I give her a newly made handbook of mine. She's pleased as pie. Shame that her constitution's too frail for travel, though, or I'd have brought her along. Plus, Katya also said that if I produce a good enough book, I might even be able to get myself published. That'd be cool if we can buy his book when we go to Snezhnaya. If by the time we get there it's published, that'd be kind of cool. Now I'd love to give Maisie a real surprise. Take a copy of my newly published handbook, hide it under her pillow, and sorry, I got a little distracted there. Huh, you sure do care about your friends, don't you? I wonder who this Maisie character is. Friends, huh? I'd say they're more like family, even though we're not related by blood. Let's not dwell on things like that. Oh, that sounds interesting. Is she like sick or something? He said that she has a weak constitution. So I don't know if she's just too fragile or if she's actually sick or is she dying or something? I don't know. Oh, right. Let me get... Oh, shit, I get one? Oh, right. Let me give you a copy of my handbook, too. Now, I need to keep a copy of the pictures and send them to Maisie. So, as for your copy, don't worry. I know a thing or two about photography. Don't worry. I can see these monsters anytime. I know it's logged in my handbook, so I don't really need this one. That's great, then. I'll be setting off on my next destination, so I'll probably head out sometime over the next few days. Safe travels. You too. Best of luck in your travels. Alrighty. Interesting. I hope you didn't sell me out to that secret organization. You know, it'd be cool if he's a part of the organization and we see him again when we go there. That'd be really cool. They did that in the 5.0 event with the Dopey Dazzler, and then she showed up again in the Masters of the Nightwind when that region came out, so that'd be kind of cool. Wow, gamers. A lot of interesting Snezhnaya lore that I was not expecting. Holy moly. Helka's notes. Notes written on pieces of paper printed with conch patterns. These seem to be drafts made in preparation for composing a monster picture book. And apart from records and descriptions, they also contain some information intended for a companion. Perhaps someone might have switched the copy out for the original by mistake. Oh my god! Yo! Bro actually did his research! Helka's notes. Giant mechanical monster. A mostly gray-white machine capable of flexibly changing its shape. It glows when active and has a varied set of attacks. They say that its proper name is Secret Source Automaton Configuration Device, and it is not a creation of the Natlanese, but rather a surviving relic of more ancient times. The patterns on the outer case are quite familiar. I've seen relics of a similar style in Nod-Krai. Perhaps the little island we live on is like a big ship that was once linked to Natlan only to be dragged off northward by some gargantuan deep-sea creature with its fins, claws, and tentacles or something, which might explain why the area which we find similar things are so tiny. Holy shit. This must be kept a secret from Katya, alright? When I get back and you get a bit better, we'll go to the island of the Frost Moon Scions and compare the relics there with my pictures of the giant device. We'll see how similar they are then, and of course, we'll get to find a good alibi to present to Katya, alright? Oh dear, I have no idea what the hell the implications are here. I don't know if the secret source technology is... I guess would it have been everywhere technically because, you know, the dragons ruled the planet. So, like, one thing that I'm also realizing too It says here the little island we lived on was like a big ship that was once linked to Natlin. I wonder if Snezhnaya is closer to Natlin than I originally thought it being closer to Mondstadt. Like, I always thought that Snezhnaya was north of Mondstadt, but I wonder if Snezhnaya is now north of Natlin, if this note is mentioning how close they would have been linked. You know what I mean? Similar to how the Mayor Javari just snap of a finger disappeared randomly about 30 years ago. I wonder if there's something that somehow created like a gap of space between this technology. Like, they even mentioned that, like, oh, maybe a gargantuan sea creature, you know, swallowed it up or dragged it even. I don't know. They said it's an island as well. So that's all very interesting. We know that there's giant, like, Leviathan sea creatures that exist, like Haishan, in the world. So yeah, I'm very excited to learn about the connection between the secret source tech, because it seemed like it was kind of originated and primarily focused in Natlin, but now to realize that this technology is also in Snezhnaya kind of makes you wonder, well, how to get there? Or was it always there? And if so, what's the connection between this nation and the next one? So a lot of stuff to think about. Next up, we have the giant centaur statue, a stone structure known as the Legatus Golem. It stands with its head held high, a shield in its left hand and a sword in its right, like a forgotten work of art in an ancient castle that has suddenly come to life. He, or perhaps it, tramples his base in a cloud of shattering stone and dust, and it waits for the dust to settle before it starts attacking. An honorable opponent indeed. Its moves are very different from those of your average mechanical monster. Like, are there average mechanical monsters in Snezhnaya where they mention, like, oh, there's all this debris and ruinous technology and machinery out there in the world, like in the wild? You know what I also thought of, chat? I don't know if you guys know or if you guys remember, but there is a mechanical technology in Dragonspine, and I only mention this because Dragonspine is kind of like baby's first Snezhnaya. There's an area in Dragonspine that has like a random, like, floating technology thing, and I've always wondered what that is. And, like, given all of these nations have, like, ancient technology to some degree, not even ruin guards, right? Like, the primal constructs, the Gardamex and stuff like that. Like, I've always wondered, like, what that is, or if that's even related at all to, like, secret source technology in Dragonspine for some reason. Sometimes you can almost imagine it giving orders to charge, like the military commander, and to others, it almost seems like it's playing a melody. I'm no good at music, though, so if there was any significance to the tune, I wouldn't hear it anyways. I heard that there were ruins of sunken Remoria in still larger regions of the sea, though I wasn't able to visit them this time. I did collect quite a number of legends and related texts, which I'll have to find time to commission a merchant caravan to bring back. I know you've always loved stories of these ancient kingdoms, and I hope you enjoy these. Aww. Yeah, Helka's just kind of looking out for Maisie, it seems like. She's probably sick wherever she lives, and so Helka goes out, gets all this information, comes back, tells her all these fantastical stories about the world. Kind of reminds me of, like, the House of the Hearth, almost, like with Clairvy and Arlecchino, dreaming about, like, the aurora lights and stuff like that, you know, only seeing it in stories and never seeing it with your eyes. Giant ball of water. The Hydrotolpa is a humanoid creature formed through the coalescence of water. It has neither a fish tail nor legs. Very different from the pure water spirits that Katya's told stories about, like the Oceanids. But its upper limbs and head are human-like, while the latter and its joints are covered in a blue-white shell that resembles armor. In combat, it summons small balls of water, miniature versions of itself, to assist it, and will sometimes swallow the smaller water balls to enhance its own strength. I heard that Fontaine's waters are very special, which is why it can birth Oceanids capable of speech. But it seems that the Hydrotolpa cannot speak, or does not wish to, or perhaps we just do not understand its words. Interesting. And last but certainly not least, the giant fire crab. A giant crab with the cool title, Emperor of Fire and Iron. Legend has it that, being an armored crab, it habitually searches for suitable shells to wear as armor as it grows, and that if it is not stopped, it might grow indefinitely, even to the point where it could someday wear the Palais Mermonia, the biggest structure in Fontaine City, a place where every building is huge. But it seems that at some point in time, someone named Basel Elton. Oh my god, that's so cool. She referenced Basil. Someone named Basil Elton defeated it, which might explain how its inexorable strength was brought to a halt. I think it's big enough as it is, to be perfectly honest. One wonders whether it or the hypothetical deep sea beast is larger. Though my bet would be the latter, considering how it could drag a whole island around. Assuming my island drift hypothesis holds water, of course. Now that she's brought that up twice, I'm kind of wondering if there was a giant sea creature that just dragged the island off into the ocean. Or if the island is the sea creature. You know what I mean? Like a giant, like on some Avatar The Last Airbender lion turtle type shit. Like you can just live on the creature's back or something. I don't know. Like, how do you explain it just grabbing a chunk of land and dragging it off into the ocean? I think it would make more sense if it was the island itself. That'd be kind of cool. Really exciting stuff. I feel like I can picture Snezhnaya a bit more in my mind's eye now that we have a lot more than simply the words of Liben and like the brief mentions of Nod-Krai. We now know about Nod-Krai, Nasha Town. We know about the guild that's there. We know about like the Fatui are moving. They're kind of mobilizing and putting plans together. Probably their Project Stuja efforts might be an actual ice beam cannon that's targeting Celestia at some point. God, I'm so excited for Snezhnaya now. I'm so much more excited for it now that we have all this other information. I think the next big jump of hype for me is either going to be the artifact set, if the artifact set teases Snezhnaya, or the summer event. Like, one of those two things is definitely going to hype me up for sure. And then eventually we're going to get the summer trailer that's going to tease the next Harbinger and the next Nation and the new Snezhnaya characters and all of that stuff, which is super exciting. Yeah, I am so thrilled. I'm so excited. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts and seeing my reactions and getting my perspective on all this new information. I took a bit of notes as well. We'll definitely be referencing this as we get closer to Snezhnaya. There's a couple other things I need to read too. I still need to read the Polar Star and the Pale Flame lore, because I deliberately stayed away from that because I wanted to read it when we get closer to Snezhnaya, especially if they gave us information between when those came out and now. So we'll definitely be doing more lore reading content. I'll probably do that whenever the new artifact set comes out. If it does tease Snezhnaya, we'll probably read all of that stuff in one go. But yeah, the Frost Moon Scions worshiping a moon deity that harbor magic that predates the 7 elements of Celestia and the visions of Teyvat in the present day. Ancient civilization, potentially mechanical monsters in Snezhnaya as well. A lot of cool stuff to look forward to and speculate on. Dragon technology, the dragon moon remnants, Dotori's research. God knows what Dotori's cooking up now with all of that extra information. I wouldn't be surprised if Bro has access to that magic power as well, if he doesn't have a vision. Yeah, that was fantastic. I really, really, really hope you guys enjoyed the content. I hope you guys enjoyed my reactions to everything. We're going to take a short intermission, and then we're going to be reading Mavwika's lore. Yeah, Snezhnaya lore was hitting, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. I cannot wait for Snezhnaya.